What's up everyone? My name is Taylor Nemechek, and this is Who's That Saint? So today's saint is from our very own stomping grounds of the United States, but before we get to that, Reginald the liturgical recorder has got to make his debut, and I'll give you a little hint. It's a church hymn. There we have it. And now let's jump into today's saint. Today's episode is pretty special, so make sure to stick around to the end to figure out why. But anyway, let's jump into today's saint, which is Saint Kateri Tekakwitha. So the question is, who is Saint Kateri Tekakwitha? Saint Kateri is actually the first Native American to be recognized by the Catholic Church as a saint. And her story began in 1656 when she was born in a Mohawk village that's located around New York. Her mother was an Algonquin, but she was captured by this Mohawk tribe, and the chief of the tribe took Kateri's mother to be his wife. When Kateri was 4 years old, there was an outbreak of smallpox that ran through the Mohawk village they were living in. Kateri, along with all of her family, contracted the smallpox. She survived with severe scars on her skin, but the rest of her family did not make it and passed away through this outbreak. So her uncle, who was also a chief of a Mohawk village, took her in and adopted her as one of his own. These scars that Kateri contracted, they became a source of humiliation for her, and she was often seen walking around with a blanket covering her face and her head so that the scars were not visible. Kateri was known to be a very skilled worker and was graced with much patience and diligence. And as she grew older, her adopted parents wanted her to start thinking about marriage and getting a husband. But Kateri was not interested in this and would continually refuse these offers. They even proposed to her a suitor as a husband for her, but she refused this. So as a punishment, they gave her all this extra work to do, thinking this would make her change her mind into getting a husband. But the extra work did not bother her, and she just took all that extra work quietly and with much diligence. And so after a while, her adopted parents finally gave up and just accepted that she knew what she was doing and that they couldn't change her mind. At the age of 19, Kateri converted to Catholicism and took a vow of chastity, saying that she was going to marry no one but Jesus. Now this was a very unpopular decision, and so her neighbors began to spread rumors about her and talk about her behind her back, and they started to think that she was some kind of sorcerer. So to avoid any persecutions, Kateri fled to a Christian native community where she could practice her faith with Jesuit missionaries. Saint Kateri was known to be extremely devout and would frequently pray for the conversion of her fellow Mohawks. She was also known to often practice self-mortification and denial, which were common among the Mohawk people. For example, some of the things she did was, according to legend, she would put thorns on her sleeping mat at night. And then the Jesuit missionaries that were with her at the time said she would often fast, and even in the times that she would eat, she would taint her food so that its flavor would be diminished. And on at least one occasion, it was known that she burned herself. So she would go to some pretty big extremes for these self-mortifications and denying things for Christ and for the greater glory. She was also a very sickly woman, and these practices did not help her health in any way. So on April 17, 1680, just 5 years after she converted to Catholicism, she passed away at the age of 24. She was beatified by St. Pope John Paul II, and she was canonized by Pope Benedict XVI on October 21st, 2012. Now, did any of you check your watches or your calendars? Because today actually happens to be October 21st. So 6 years ago today, Saint Kateri Tekakwitha was canonized by Pope Benedict XVI. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I didn't plan that. That just happened to be a crazy coincidence, and, you know, it very well might not have been a coincidence. Who knows? And Saint Kateri is the patroness of ecology, the environment, people in exile, and Native Americans. So there's our answer to who is Saint Kateri Tekakwitha. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something you didn't already know. I've been getting that wrong in every other video. But I hope you learned something, and make sure to subscribe and like the video, and comment below if you have any saints you'd like to see on any future episodes. and make sure to check out all the other videos if you haven't already. And as always, stay tuned for next Sunday's Who's That Saint? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. God bless.